Crystal.
I'm AJ.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Jenny.
And we're with the Clean Classrooms for Carolina Kids team.
We're here to help you understand how to participate in the water section of our program.
Like how to collect samples,
How to ship them,
How to understand your results,
and how to take action to get the lead out of water in drinking and cooking taps where children learn and play. Your box will be where you normally receive packages. The box will be rectangular in shape, and there are 18 bottles per box. So if you have more than 18 taps for drinking and cooking, you will receive more than one box, for example, here. You'll also receive an email when your sample kit is on the way and when it's arrived at your facility. Each box will be rectangular in shape and have the Clean Classrooms for Carolina Kids logo on it. Once you enroll, make sure that you tell administrative staff you're expecting a package so that they don't get accidentally thrown out.
I didn't order this.
Make sure to open the box without breaking it because you'll reuse this box to ship it back to RTI. Once you get your sample kit and bring it in, make sure it has all the materials you need. It will come with bubble wrap, which you should save to reuse. It will come with several materials in a small bag here. And then it will contain the number of bottles you requested for sampling, up to 18 bottles per sample kit. And so if you have more than 18 bottles that you need for drinking and cooking taps, you will get a second box. These bottles will be in a larger bag.
In the small bag of materials, you'll find a stop page advising you to read through all the instructions for successful water samples, a return label for when you ship everything back, your instructions, and a chain of custody document.
Let's
Get ready to sample! Once you receive your sample kit and confirm all of the contents inside, you can set a date to sample. You should also communicate with your school community about your plans for sampling and also the people within your school to make sure that no water has been used in the building for 8 to 72 hours before sampling. You want to collect first draw water samples so that we know the water that's available for students when they first arrive to school in the morning or after a weekend, like a Monday morning. Oftentimes, you can sample in the morning and complete sampling before any cafeteria workers, students, or staff use the water, or you could sometimes do this sampling on the weekend or during holiday breaks or summer break. If the water has been turned off for more than 72 hours, 3 days, then we will want you to follow our flush guidance to make sure that the taps are flushed appropriately before sampling. If your facility is closed for the summer, holidays, or more than 72 hours, you must take additional steps, which you can follow on a QR code here on our water sample instructions, to flush taps 2 to 3 days before sampling. Once you set a date to sample, make sure you put it on your calendar, the school calendar, and you alert others that typically are in the building. And you can set a phone alert and email your staff. Make sure you communicate to your school community not to use any water in the building until you complete sample collection the day of sampling. If water has been used in the prior 8 hours, do not collect samples that day and wait and go back another day. We want to know what's in that first sip. The longer that water sits in piping and plumbing, the more likely that we may find lead at the tap. This is why we collect first draw water samples, typically after an overnight period where water is not used for at least 8 hours, or after a weekend when people are away. Set a date and time to collect your samples and make sure that you alert others in your school community about when this will be.
All of you should have received an email and a calendar invite letting you know about the sample collection that will happen next Monday. We picked that day because school is closed, and so we'll be getting the water samples collected for the Clean Classrooms for Carolina Kids program. As soon as the sample collection is done, we'll send an email out letting folks know that you can start using the water again.
Does this include flushing the toilets and going to the bathroom?
Yes, do not flush toilets, do not wash your hands until that sample collection is done. It should only take a little bit of the time in the morning. They're saying 1 to 3 minutes per tap, and so we should be done in the morning.
Gotcha. Oh, there is a camp on Monday. What should we do about that?
No, I think we'll be fine because they said, again, 1 to 3 minutes per tap, and so we should be done before that gets started.
Okay, perfect.
Let's collect our samples.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I grabbed box 1, which I did. I've already set up everything I need here. So we're going to follow the order of bottles on our chain of custody document, starting with the lowest numbered sample. So in this case, I have sample 01, which is our first sample we're going to collect. After I collect sample 1, I'm going to fill out my date and time of collection on my chain of custody, and then move on to collect sample bottle number 2. So you can see here, sample 0002.
Just confirming this is box 1?
Yep, in the bottom here you can see box 1 of 2.
Okay, now it's time to sample. So when we go ahead and sample, you will open the lid and make sure that you do not touch the inside of the lid or the inside of the bottle. Place the lid facing up, and then you'll turn the tap on as you normally would with normal flow, and make sure you do not overflow it and stop before the end. Take the lid and put it on tight, give it a tug, and you're done. Okay, now that I collected my first water sample, I'm going to write the date and the time of sample collection, and then go to the next sample. Avoid common mistakes like washing your hands before collecting first draw water samples,
Or removing the aerator from your sink before you collect a sample.
or not using water normally in the building the week before.
And if your school is closed the week before you collect samples, use our flushing guidance to flush your taps 2 to 3 days before you collect your samples.
And make sure that you don't turn off any shut-off valves for the taps before you sample. If you come in and you notice that somebody has used water in the building, do not start your sample collection and set a date and time for another day.
So tips for water fountains. At least 72 hours before you sample, you'll want to go and see where water hits the faucet. So you'll come in with a Sharpie and mark off where that hits. For water bottles, the water bottles, you want to come in at an angle, and if you miss some of it, it's all right. You can just keep filling it up and make a note on the COC.
If you have water fountains that have been shut off since the pandemic, you should turn them on and flush them 2 to 3 days before your sample collection date so that you can use them in the future, even if you do plan to shut them off again. Okay, so this is a high-low water fountain, and it has a lower tap, a higher tap, and a bottle filler. So this will actually be listed as 3 separate taps in your enrollment survey, so you should have 3 bottles.
This is the next bottle in the chain of custody document. Remember, when you open it, don't touch inside of the bottle or the cap. Carefully place it right side up and fill your bottle to the top of the neck. Give it a tug and you're all set.
Okay, so this is the water fountain across from room 223, and this is the low, the high, and the bottle filler. So that will be, I think, 3 taps that we need to sample because they're used for drinking.
All right, 3 drinking water taps.
Okay.
Got it.
And then here's the boys' bathroom, which those are just used for hand washing, so I don't think we need to sample those.
Okay, I'm gonna go count how many sinks there are though, so we can order signs for those.
Okay, that's great. Oh, something else about these is these were closed off due to the pandemic, so we need to
Okay.
open them and flush them 3 days before we sample. And I noticed that actually this filter status light is getting to the point where we need to get ready to replace our filter cartridge.
Okay, awesome. I will update our drinking water management plan with this information.
Sounds good.
Let's ship our samples.
So as I collected samples with my team, we filled in the date of collection and time of collection for each tap. Now that we've sampled everything in our facility that we use for drinking and cooking, we're ready to ship our samples back to RTI. So the first thing that I'm going to do is fill out the chain of custody document noting who led the sample collection and the date and time. And if you had any other issues that you want to note in the comments section here. You can also check all that apply at the top, including if you sampled when the facility was operating normally, if you sampled when the facility was closed for more than 3 days, and showing that you performed the recommended flushing guidance if you did sample when you were closed. Okay, now that I dated and signed my chain of custody document, I need to make sure that I checked all that apply here too. So I sampled when the facility was operating normally, which means that it hasn't been closed for more than 3 days. And once I finished that, you're going to put the chain of custody document in this smaller Ziploc bag. I'll take out the label here, and you want to zip this up to make sure no water gets the paper wet. And then the next thing that you want to do is put all of your sampled water bottles together in the large Ziploc bag. If you did have 18 bottles in your kit, it will fill the box. So you want to put the bottles on their side, 6 to a row, and stack it 3 rows high. And then you'll go ahead and you'll also close this large Ziploc bag. Make sure you don't have extra air in there. Okay. Next step will be to fill the bottles into the bag, laying it flat. Okay, once you get the sample bottles back in the box, make sure you put your chain of custody in the box as well. Stick that inside. Put your bubble wrap at the top here. And then you are going to take the label and place the label over your old label like so. Take the sticky off, tape it, and then find some packing tape and tape the top. And you're ready to call UPS for pickup. Okay, I think we're all done with sampling and ready to schedule the UPS pickup now.
Okay, there's a website or a number. I'll give them a call and have them come pick up.
Sounds great. Yeah, it says it's 1-800-742-5877. If you call after 7 a.m. and before 10 a.m., they'll come the same day.
Hi, I'd like to schedule a UPS pickup.
You need your phone number and tracking number.
Oh, the tracking number is 1Z2. What's the confirmation number? Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. We can go ahead and put the box outside where we normally do our pickups. And it says here that samples must be shipped back within 10 days. So let's just make sure they do actually come and pick them up.
Okay, now we've collected all of our samples. We've got them packed up and ready to ship. We've called UPS and scheduled pickup. So I'm going to put them outside in our classic pickup location, and we're going to wait for UPS to pick them up. If I notice that the box is still there tomorrow when after UPS was supposed to pick them up, I'll call again and potentially drive them to the UPS store to drop off there.
Let's view our results.
Okay, now that you've gotten your results back, and you may have some taps that have levels at or above the state action level, and so what we're going to do is tape those off. So we're going to put this sign up, and it lets folks know that they should not use the tap for drinking or cooking until mitigation has occurred. And because this has 2 parts, we're going to put the sign up on both.
Okay, so this tap came back with lead at or above the state action level. So we received a sign that notes to not use it for drinking or cooking while repairs are in process. So we're going to go ahead and place the sign here. We're also going to make sure that staff and students know to only use this for hand washing until repairs confirm that we mitigated the lead. Okay, so we successfully mitigated this tap. The fixture was replaced with a new fixture, and a filter was also installed because this tap is used for drinking and cooking in this classroom. So we're going to take this sign down now that we confirmed with our post-mitigation sampling that mitigation was effective. And we have a new sign that says this tap can be used for drinking and cooking. And we're going to place this so we formally designate this tap for drinking and cooking and share this with staff and students.
All right, so here we are in the bathroom, and these sinks were not sampled as part of the program because we designated them as hand wash only. So I printed out some signs that were provided, and I'm going to post them to let people know that these sinks should only be used for washing hands.
Thanks for participating in our program.